we dealt with one side of it. I gave you a whole bunch of ideas on how to drain that cup. You remember the cup that we were talking about? Draining it. But here's the challenge. There's really no point in you draining it if you're going to be filling it faster than you're draining it. And there's only that much you can do. You can't get your dog to be chewing all day and sniffing all day. They do need that much sleep too, right? So we need to be sure that we are not adding in large quantities. Some things are not avoidable at all. Me going out for a walk in the morning, I can't expect her not to get excited about it. I can't not go. So that's going to happen. Meeting Sky, it happens once a week. I don't want them not to meet. I do manage it. I don't let them be in that state for very long. I don't let them get over the top. I try to keep the meeting as calm as possible. I try to introduce sniffing together for them and so on and so forth. Yoga teacher, yes, I have figured out something. I figured out that if I tell the yoga teacher, please don't go wait upstairs, wait down, I'll put the dogs in, put them in another room, then get you in and take you to another room, it somewhat seems to be mitigating it. So good. There are some things that you can't avoid, there are some things that you can change, and there are some things that you can stop doing fully. Okay. So, if we are adding faster than we are draining, it's really no point. So we must stop that end of it, because then you're fighting a battle that you're not going to win. Number one here is anger. I don't know who this dude is, okay? It's a free photograph from the internet. But our anger makes a huge difference to dogs. And a lot of times, dogs that come to me with extreme behavior problems also, what I see is, I tell these guys, okay, do blah, 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 all this, and then I tell them, can you figure out how not to get angry with your dog for a week? You do yoga if you need to, but just don't get angry with the dog for a week. And it's fascinating what happens at the end of that week, because they're not getting angry, the cup is not getting filled up that much, we're doing all the draining activities, so what has happened with a lot of these dogs is, as a puppy, they might have done something. Picked up something. Puppies are naughty. They pick up something, they destroy something. Parents gotten angry, scolded the dog. Cup got full. He does more of that behavior, because it's a coping strategy. He gets yelled at more. Cup gets fuller still. Pet parent is not understanding why the hell the behavior is not going away. I've tried to discipline. Why is it not going away? And the dog is not able to do anything else because it's filling up more, because he's getting yelled at. There's nothing more important for a dog than the person he lives with. Your emotions are so important for a dog. So now, if the owner stops yelling at the dog, even for a week, that cup starts reducing, because we're draining and not adding anymore. Now, some of the behaviors start changing, and the owner is happy. So he stops yelling even more. Cup comes down even more. He stops yelling even more. He's in a happy state of mind. So many times I've had dogs that are actually biting dogs, and they come back to me after one session and they say the biting stopped. And I often ask them, what did you do? They don't know themselves. But now you know. You know the trick that I use. You know what I'm doing there. I'm working with this system. So if you're getting angry with your dog, it's definitely worth investing some time and energy in figuring out if there is an alternative to how you deal with this. And activities. I love this part of the talk, and I have a full 13 minutes to talk about it, so I'll take my time. Now, this is usually the part at which, I give this spiel to almost all my clients. They've all been putting their hands up because clearly they've heard me say this many times over. But this is usually the point at which they're very, very surprised with what I have to say. We are talking about activities like long walks, jogging, sports, fetch, rough play. What do you think it's doing to that cup? And how? Oh my goodness. We play fetch 15, 20 times a day. And we do so many activities with them, and it adds like crazy. And here is usually the point at which the clients go, whoa, we lost you. It made so much sense till now, we've lost you at this point. Typically, I'm met with a few questions. I'm going to put them all out there, And let's see if your questions are already accounted for. But don't dogs need this exercise to burn the energy out? We have been told that our dogs are giving these behaviors because they're high energy, and we need to burn it out. So we've been going for these extra long walks because we've been told that's the only way the problem goes away. And you're saying something else altogether. Next, but dogs are high energy animals, and they're happiest when they're running around like crazy and doing a lot and playing fetch and doing this and that. Next, but exercise is good. Lots of exercise must be great. And we need it for our dogs to lose weight. Have you seen half the Labradors in India? Okay. I'm going to take each of these and try to answer them. Dogs need that exercise to burn the energy out so that they're calmer at the end of it and they're burnt out. How many of us have heard this? A tired dog is a happy dog. A tired dog is a good dog. Think about your own exercise, human beings. If working out was burning us out, why on earth would so many people opt to work out first thing in the morning? Wouldn't you be burnt out for the rest of the day? Why would you do this? Because it doesn't burn us out. It actually gives us a burst of energy. Adrenaline, actually, and some endorphins. It does give us a burst of energy. The science of it is kind of makes sense now. Yeah? And our observations tell us the same. Most of the dogs who are made to do a lot of work, yes, their body might feel very exhausted, so they might come and take a short break, but heck, all the behaviors are back like this. They're not going anywhere, and half the times they're actually getting worse and worse and worse. In most of the cases, I just have to ask people to stop doing this. The dog's problems, behaviors just goes away. Okay. But aren't dogs high energy animals? Don't they need a lot of exercise? That's interesting. I decided to ask this question, and I decided to ask the dogs this question. My premise and my thesis for when I was studying was to answer this question in a bit more of an objective and scientific way. I love this study, and the study has actually been quoted many places. It's also been quoted in a book by an ethologist from the US, Dr. Mark Bekoff. So what I decided to do is to ask, all animals know how much exercise they need. You don't need to go tell a tiger, hey, 20-minute cardio. Yeah, they know it. Same of street dogs. None of you are working out your street dogs, are you? No, they don't have gyms, they don't have leashes, they're not going on long walks. So obviously, street dogs know what is the optimal amount of movement for them, and I decided to measure it to see if we can get somewhere an idea of how much do dogs really move. Now, this is interesting. Do you know in this graph, which part of it represents movement? Yeah. It's going to turn green very quickly here. There you go. That green part represents movement. And when I say movement, walking, trotting, pooping, peeing, running, playing, all things that require movement is just that part. This study, by the way, lasted 4 years, and I have upwards of 700 observations in videos. And this is what we are clocking. Work, work, work. Okay. And one activity dominates their day. Yeah, you don't get prizes for it because it's on the screen. One activity. Look at that. The gray bit is one activity. Yes, I did a study and all that because people need science and data, but we have street dogs to observe. This should not come as a surprise to anybody. They sleep and they sleep and they sleep. And very honestly, sleep is underrepresented in my study because we know that sleeping dogs are kind of hard to find, street dogs, right? They sleep under the car, in the drain and things like that. No matter how hard I try, and even if I know where they are, half the times I can't see them because they sleep in very odd places, especially during the day. It's really hard to spot them. So my suspicion is this number is higher, and it's not just this. What is even more interesting is there's another parallel study being conducted in Kolkata at IISER. This lady is a scientist, so her study does not include cute bone pictures. Hers includes some math that I don't understand. But the numbers are surprisingly similar. Surprisingly similar. She's also clocking this kind of close to 50% sleep and very little movement. Kind of the story most places actually. We're not really looking at lot of movement. All right. Next part is health and wellness. Do they not fall sick? Don't they need to have exercise? Yes, they do, but improper exercise is not going to be good for them. If you're going to be doing unilateral movement all the time, or running, jogging tied to a leash, where you're bending in one direction and running like this, playing fetch, poor ergonomics, our super, super smooth flooring, and you want to know, I have a little bit of time, you want to know an interesting fact. So, most of us human beings, we walk putting our full foot down on the ground, yeah? Dogs don't walk like that. We are what we call plantigrade animals. Dogs are digitigrade animals. They walk on their tiptoes like this. You've seen the little knob, kind of a black thing? That's where their foot ends, which means that they're landing only their toes when they walk. They're built like that. So that would somewhat mean, imagine yourself on stilettos 24/7 running on your smooth floor. Just begin to imagine that. Oh my goodness. And plus on top of it, they're going to be high on adrenaline. What does adrenaline do to pain? It masks it like no man's business. If you were a deer running across the forest and a tiger has slit you open, you're not going to be sitting there saying, oh man, I need medical attention. Nope, you're still going to be running. What enables you to do that? Adrenaline. How many times have we heard of people who have met with accidents and don't even realize they've broken bones until much later? Adrenaline. That kind of powerful hormone, that smooth flooring, those stilettos, and we're making them run. It causes injury. Not every exercise is good. Some exercise, if not done right, is damaging. I know this because I used to be a marathoner. I did not do sufficient strength training and cross training, and you should see me try to climb down stairs. I look like I'm twice my age. I've injured my legs so badly, I've injured my knees so badly in the process. So, and of course, if you're going to be doing a lot of exercise, you have to couple it with the necessary warm-up, cool-down, rest, recovery, injury management. All sports stars do need it. Just having exercise and a lot of exercise doesn't cut it. You need to make sure you're not injuring yourself in the process. Do we have the facilities that sports stars have? Nope, we don't. I love this term called functional fitness. The names there are of these two guys who are the physical fitness trainers for this dude. Who's them? Phelps. You see these things? This was done by these guys. Yeah, cupping. Okay, functional fitness. I love that term. What is it? He talks about vanity fitness and functional fitness. Vanity fitness, six-pack. Functional fitness is, what is fitness at the end of the day? Your muscles and your joints have to enable your dreams and your movements for as long as you live. That's the point of fitness, isn't it? Your joints should not be overloaded. They should have full range of movement. Your muscles need to expand and then go back to their state and do it comfortably for as long as possible so that we are not overcompensating anywhere. That's functional fitness. And very interestingly, in human beings, he was talking about the right kind of, these guys were talking about the right kind of exercise, and they were talking about things like Pilates, yoga, even chores at home, doing work at home, cleaning, moving. You're achieving that full range of movement, and that's really what you need. With all your joints have to move that full range as frequently as possible. Low impact, healthy, open up, close, not pull and twist. Right? Using the muscles sometimes can help if you do it the right way. Do it the wrong way, You're tearing it. Not very good. Very, very injury prone. Okay, so that's health and fitness. So then what is the right kind of movement? What is the right kind of movement for a dog? Again, we're looking at functional fitness. Look at the street dog. Look at the kind of movements they achieve. Sniffing the ground. Nice, full stretch of the hamstrings all the way down. And that's really the right head carriage for dogs. It's natural. Smelling down a hole. I learned that it activates the gluteal muscles. I learned this time. Just that extending the neck out, extending the neck down, starts activating all these muscles. Lateral movement, necessary lateral movement, turning around, looking around, picking your legs up over surfaces. How many Labradors have you seen that walk like this? Absolutely, they don't pick up their legs at all. And there's no point in making that dog walk more and more and more exactly like that. You're just going to be incorrectly loading the joints, and that's not good news. Okay, and the last bit, weight management. A lot of people say, oh, we need a lot of exercise for dogs that are very fat. Not really. We have a few people talking about nutrition later today as well. And even with human beings, you're seeing exceedingly a lot of people saying the same thing. Weight loss is a function of the right diet. Exercise is meant not for weight loss, but for functional fitness of your joints and muscles. That's what we need to do exercise for. But if you're looking at managing your weight, you have to address diet. The right kind of diet. Diet is a completely different conversation. I don't want to have it here. I'm not qualified. But I know who is qualified. The lady who spoke to us before the break, Dr. Dodds. This is her book. I highly recommend people read it. It's fantastic. It just changed my life. And I do recommend you guys read it as well to figure out what's great nutrition for your dog. It doesn't just necessarily mean just weight loss diets. It's very personalized. It's meant to work for your specific dog. No one solution ever works for anybody. All right. So that's really it. And one thing I would urge everybody to do, when in doubt, when you're given information, the internet is full of rubbish, okay? We all know this. The internet is full of rubbish. So when you're asked a question, when you're faced with a question, when you're wondering if the lifestyle that your dog is leading is right, is optimal, what is right, what is wrong, I'm getting so many contradictory opinions. We in India have the luxury of having street dogs right outside. Go observe. Observe 5 dogs, observe 10 dogs. What is the right kind of movement? How do they move? What is good movement? How do they eat? How much do they sleep? What else do they do? These are all questions you can ask the streeties. You don't have to rely on me. You don't have to rely on experts. You don't have to read a damn book. If you start observing, Turid always tells us, this Turid is my teacher, and she always tells us, observe, observe, observe. That's really where your answers come from. So I would strongly urge, make it a habit to go out, take notes, take numbers down, make observations, because really the best authority on dogs are dogs. I met this fellow 3 days ago outside of Darshini. How cute is he? So yes, that's the reason why our tagline says learning to learn from dogs. Because really, I think that's the most authentic information that's out there. And that's it, guys.